public seems to be a little leaning on the over, but the sharp bettors right now are on the under. So you can kind of call you can call yourself a sharp better right now, Ev, which you haven't been able to do much this year.
Oh, gosh, the guy gives a compliment and within seconds pulls the rug out. All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of H2H, the head-to-head show in which Tasos and myself battle it out each and every week, giving our best NFL picks, and may the best man come out on top. Tasos, I don't want to sound weird here to start the show, but you've been on top of me a lot this season. You win last week.
Sounds a little wrong.
You're now up, and your record's now 6-2. I feel like a post-game reporter, like, what are you going to do next? Because you are running away with this thing. I have to dig deep to win this, but how has it been just absolutely bodying me this year?
It's been a ride. It's been a ride for sure. This past Sunday was in particular like a really because I had a feeling when we did the show last week, I'm like, there were picks like that Cowboy pick. I wish I had posted it before the game because I want everyone to know like how right I was on that. Like I was all over it like the whole week. Like I called it, like I couldn't have called it better. Like even listening to my like explanation last week, everything that I said happened. Like word for word, like I said, like, oh, they're gonna win by like 14 plus. You know, it's gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be over early. All these things. I mean, I put a lot of money on my own like personal account. We talked about it off show a little bit, but it was a great week. I feel bad almost. Like if it's like taking candy from a baby in a sense, where it's like, you know, I feel bad. You're 2-6. Like I want to make it interesting. Like I want you to be able to come back, but you just can't, you haven't been great.
It's also tough that you decide to implement the double down rule.
Yeah.
In the week that you find your bet of the year. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when you agreed to, or when you came up with the rule either. So it's like figures. And I think I lost my double down, so it would have been hard for me to win anyways. But yeah, I got to give credit to that Cowboys pick. If you even watched that back towards the end of the show last week, I'm like, I can't knock the Cowboys pick. I don't mind getting 6.5 points, but realistically, even if you watched my NFL picks video for the week, I was on the Cowboys to -6. It's like that was such a good spot for them. And you were completely right. So ran away with it that week. Yeah, 2-6 is hard to swallow here. Definitely tough. We're talking about bodying, good rides, swallowing. This is a different show than what people are used to turning.
Quite an intro. It's been a real dirty 2 minutes.
But yeah, 2-6 for me, 6-2 for you guys. If you don't know what the show is, we go round by round, giving a pick, and may the best man, like I said, come out on top units wise. We'll give our picks here, but we don't get to decide what types of bets we're rolling with. We leave that up to the wheel gods. We spin a wheel for both the order of our picks as well as the types of picks, and we got a couple new ones on the wheel today. But Tasos, got anything to add before we jump into the picks? You got any more bragging winner's circle type rants to go on?
No, I'm not. I don't got too much. I don't have a lot of bragging to do. The only one to say is that this could be the week you start your comeback, because I will be honest, and I'm going to warn people, you might hear me sneeze or cough a little bit. I'm a little under the weather, battling the sniffles right now. So you're getting me at like not my full, like I'm not 100% here. I'm dealing with an ankle injury. I'm a basketball player after like a back-to-back with a sore ankle. Like you're not getting my best effort here. You know, I'm trying my best, but I'll be honest, the brain's a little wheezy right now.
I'm the guy that's tarnishing his career sticking around, though. Like, I should retire. So
you're Udonis Haslem, who's been on the bench for like 15 years.
Seriously, I got the mind. I just can't execute. But I don't know what it is. I mean, last thing, too, like 2 weeks ago. So last week I had like a middle-of-the-road NFL week. It wouldn't have mattered with your pick, right? But 2 weeks ago, I literally went, we said it on the show, I went 11-3. 2 of my 3 losses came on the show's picks. And you just always have my number, but not this week. Not this week. I'm determined to get a win this week, but I say that every week. But this week I'm really determined. Very determined.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you for a better performance for the people, for you. I'm looking for a better performance out of you. I think we'll get it this week too.
All right, I appreciate it, Coach. All right, let's go ahead and spin the wheel here. This is to decide who drafts first. It then is a snake draft. So the second person or the next person will get 2 picks in a row. Tasos, you're up first.
The wheel loves
more
me.
on your name. That could land more on your name. All right, so we have Tasos drafting first. We'll jump into the second wheel here, and this is going to determine what type of pick we are rolling with for the round. Guys, we also have the double down effect, which is if you want to double down and put 2 units on it play, you can. But if it loses, you lose 2 units. But you do have that effect. We can use it once per episode. Don't have to use it. Tasos came up clutch using it last week. But yeah, just want to throw that out there. So what are you looking for here? We have underdog spread. We have under. We have over. We have total. We have player prop. Thursday Night Football pick. We got everything on this board. What are you looking for?
The world's my oyster here, Ev. I'm a winner. I'm riding high right now. I don't really have a preference. Just wherever it lands, I'll be happy with it. Honestly, I I feel like I can't do any wrong right now.
He feels invincible. This is my week. Let's spin the wheel.
Went 3-1 on college football picks, 3-1 here on this show. The only one I haven't hit right now is the parlays on the NBA parlay, but I think tonight is the night we hit that. So if you watch today's episode, we're off to a good start with that parlay.
All right, looks like you're getting a player prop here, which, to be honest, I don't love the player props here, especially because we record this just like today, sometimes a few days in advance. Not all the player props are out. There are a handful out, which ain't all that bad, but we do have player prop as the first one on the board here. Toss us what you got, because I already know mine, but if we get a second player prop, I could be screwed.
All right, this is not great value, but I have maybe never in my existence as a sports bettor been more confident, even more confident than this Cowboys pick that I had last week. I'm going to use my double down right off the bat.
What do we do? No way.
Give me Will Levis over half an interception. You can get that at minus 155 odds. Again, not great value at minus 155. We're going to put 2 units on it. He is the darling right now, right? The Titans were done. They were rebuilding, and he comes out and throws 4 touchdowns against the Falcons, and now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Tennessee, they got something here. I wasn't impressed with his performance. Not to say that he didn't have a good game. He definitely did. But I think the numbers paint a better picture than it actually was. If you watch the game, some of the balls he threw, like that first touchdown he threw, shouldn't even been a touchdown because it was an offensive PI on Hopkins. He completely turned the corner. Like the corner was playing ring around the rosy. Well, Hopkins had a beeline for the end zone, and it was kind of a duck ball. There was a lot that I didn't love to see, and actually, there's a little bit of a funny story here. Like, I'm from Connecticut. Will Levis is from Connecticut. He played in the same high school conference as I did in my league. So my high school team has faced off against Will Levis in the past. So I got to see him, up close and personal on the football field when he was in high school. Good player. I think he does have a future in the NFL. But I will be honest and say, I don't think he's as good as that game was. I think that was more of just how bad the Falcons are. I think Pittsburgh's defense, even without Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think they're going to give this kid hell. I actually think he'll probably throw multiple interceptions here. I'm going to play it safe and go with 1. But I think there's no way in hell he comes out of this clean against the Steelers defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was a DeAndre Hopkins game, almost, in my opinion, more than it was Will Levis. Like, DeAndre Hopkins looked like he used to look. You know what I mean? Like, he was getting the separation, making the deep plays. Did Will Levis put it there multiple times? Yes, but I think it's a good spot. This is, like, if you look at where the Steelers' strength is, it's disrupting the quarterback, pass defense, right? This is not a Steelers run defense, which will kind of I guess, roll into my pick in just a second. But I can't really knock the Will Levis one because you and me both, we share the thought of, like, when the world is high on something, look at the opposite. You know what I mean? Like my dad taught me that when we were talking about sports betting years ago. He's like, it pays to be a contrarian. You know what I mean? Like, everyone wants A to happen, so bet B. I don't mind the Will Levis one here. I do think that this could be a spot in which he doesn't throw the ball all that much, because I'm going to roll right into my pick. I like Derrick Henry to score a touchdown.
Okay.
Plus 135. Now, you doubled down on yours, and I'm thinking, do I double down on mine? Because that's a ridiculous Thursday night that we now have if we do that. The problem with mine is that Derrick Henry, as good as he is through, 6-7 weeks, right, has only scored 3 touchdowns. He's never scored more than 1 touchdown here, and this is still a good Steelers defense.
Yeah.
The only thing is that they are like, as good as they are, I was looking at it, they've allowed like the 3rd most yards or 4th most, something like that, to running backs on the ground and whatnot. Like, this is a Steelers defense that is literally and solely a great defense because of their pass defense. They have a good run defense. They're not like the Bears or, just terrible defenses almost. But this is a spot in which Derrick Henry could go off. The thing that kind of hinders me is like what you talked about last week too. Do the Titans care? Do they give a crap? Like, do they really, like, does it matter? Because this Steelers team cares about the future. They care about their young guys. They want to build and build and build. But you know what? Mama didn't raise no bitch. I'm doubling down.
Oh, boy.
Derrick Henry, touchdown, plus 135. Just get to the goal line. This is a extremely, bad Titans offense in the red zone too. But in the red zone, he gets 76% of the carries. Give me Derrick Henry. I'm doubling down, plus 135 with a touchdown. If he punches one in, Tasos, it's a big if he does, that's going to set up a tough week for you to come back from.
Oh, for sure. Like, this is you're honestly putting almost your whole, because, like, let's be realistic here. If I go 7-2, it's still not mathematically impossible for you to come back, right? Because there's 18 weeks in the season, so this is the halfway point of the year. So, there's still time, but time is running out. You are running out of time, though. If this continues to expand, I don't know if you're going to have enough time. So this is a big spot. Derrick Henry could make or break in a lot of ways your season here. I don't hate this spot. The only problem I have is that Tyjae Spears has been getting a lot of work in this offense as well, and he is the younger back. I think they're kind of positioning for the future a little bit. That's why Will Levis is playing. I'm surprised they didn't trade more guys. They traded Kevin Byard to the Eagles and then just kind of were like, we're done with the fire sale because we beat the Falcons. There was rumors that Derrick Henry was going to go to Baltimore. He ends up staying put. I can't poke too many holes in it because I do agree, like, the Steelers' run defense hasn't been great. The only reason why I think their run defense struggles, though, too, is that teams just don't want to pass on them because their pass defense is so good and they put pressure on the quarterback. That teams just run, and no matter what, if you're running, the majority of the time, you're going to get yards. I think that Pittsburgh here, knowing what they're going up against, they might try to put more pressure on the run and basically tell the Titans, hey, we want you to beat us with Will Levis. Like, we're not going to get beat by Derrick Henry in the run game. You beat us with your quarterback. I think that's what the Steelers want. I think the Titans, if that happens, I think they're going to find out real quick that Will Levis, like I said, I'm not saying he'll be a bust. I do think that big game that he had skewed the public a little bit, but I don't hate your pick here. I really don't. But yeah, Derrick Henry kind of had a little bit of a quiet year. Not that he's had a bad year, but he hasn't been his normal King Henry self. However, one last point to kind of favor your pick, he does tend to get it going like in the second half of the year. Like, he kind of picks up a little bit. So this is around the time where Derrick Henry starts to turn it up a little bit. So this could be the game where he kind of flips the switch and becomes, the King Henry that everyone knows. So I don't hate the spot.
And the thing is, too, like, I admit, it is sort of a flyer. As weird as it is to say Derrick Henry, a touchdown score, a flyer, I don't know if he's been plus 135 in the last, 3 years.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that week in and week out would be minus 135 for any time touchdown score, right? So we're not getting better value on Derrick Henry from an odds perspective. The double down could screw me because, again, it is still a flyer. He's not scoring a lot. Tyjae Spears, I'm really not worried about. Just I know that he could be the future, but Derrick Henry's still out carrying like you read about. You know what I mean? Like, Henry's averaging nearly 70% of the team's carries. And even from a target perspective, he's like right behind Spears. I know Spears is more of like the passing one. That's not my concern. My concern is literally just the Titans overall. Can they get near the end zone? Because I don't really trust them to move the ball as well as much as getting a goal line opportunity and Henry punches it in. I picture that in my brain, and now I'm like, I'm already doubling down in with a huge hit. Like, that's what I'm picturing, the goal line punch-in, not a 70-yard touchdown. But we shall see. That's a wild start to the show, guys.
Yeah, well, I think you need it because, like, these Thursday games are really hard to stomach. And so I feel like the only way to get through them is to just kind of put your balls on the table and just double down on Titans picks.
I wouldn't have doubled down if you didn't. You know what I mean? Like that's a strategy there. It's almost like I couldn't if Levis throws an interception, I'm playing such pickup. But there is a world in which Levis throws an interception and Henry scores a touchdown in the same very game, right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we kind of edge out there. But yeah, guys, hit the subscribe button for that. Hit the like button. If you're watching right now, go ahead and comment 15. You should have made it around 15 minutes into the video. I'm curious to see where the rest of the show goes because that is a little big. We got 4 units between the two of us now on Thursday Night Football.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And what is it going to be? Probably a really ugly game to watch.
Yeah, it'd be great though. Will Levis touch interception right away, and you're feeling great, and then all of a sudden late in the game, Derrick Henry punches one in, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, here we go.
I'm going to be rooting for a lot of Will Levis interceptions, a lot of them.
Tasos, there's a chance we have more Thursday night action because there are some Thursday night football specific ones on the wheel here. But again, guys, we're spinning the wheel for round number 2 here. I'm going to go first. Usually I forget the order of this show, but I'm going to go first here. And Tasos,
that also screwed you last week, by the way. I don't know if you remember that last week. You screwed up, and you even said it on the show, like, that's bad juju for me. And it came back to bite you because that Saints Colts, you doubled down on the under, and that under was dead pretty early. Like they had a shootout
so early. That was so early. But all right, we got a money line here. I don't hate this spot. I have a couple money lines on my sheet here. I don't think I love it. I think that I think weirdly enough, I think I'm more of a spread side of things this week, but I like the Rams here on the money line. You're gonna call me crazy. You're gonna say it's absurd, but value is value. I'm getting them at plus. By the way, that Derrick Henry one, I don't know if I said it, plus 135. Rams here plus 140 on FanDuel right now on the money line. I know they have the injuries. I know they look terrible against the Cowboys, but the Packers also stink. And if the Rams were favored in this game, I wouldn't be looking at them on the money line, okay? Like, I can admit that. Or I wouldn't even be looking at them in the spread, right? If they're a -1, if they were even minus 101 money line favorites, I wouldn't be looking at it. But plus 140, I'll take Stafford against Jordan Love. That's kind of what it comes down to in my brain.
Yeah, I like this pick. It was on my sheet. Packers right now really haven't been playing great. The Rams coming off a really, really ugly loss to the Cowboys. The only thing that scares me for you here is that Stafford did get hurt in that loss to Dallas. So that's kind of the only kind of wrinkle in there. It
was a hand injury, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to come into play. I'm sure he's going to play.
He's such a trooper. Like the guy literally came in and threw a left-handed touchdown pass earlier in his career. Like, this guy is a tough mother effer.
Oh, he is. And Stafford, that's why Lions fans loved him for so long, is because the guy's one of the toughest dudes out there. You know, a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of athletes nowadays, they get like a bruise and it's like, I'm done. You know, this guy literally dislocated. I forgot what the injury was, but that clip is historic. Though, with the Lions when like his shoulder,
a collarbone or something, maybe.
I think it broke. I think it was his collarbone, and he just came right back in and like wincing and screaming through the touchdown that won the game like crazy.
Who was the I think it was a Red Sox. I don't know if he was on the Red Sox, but it was John Lester or someone. His newborn child fell asleep on his shoulder, and he went to the 15-day DL because he had a sore shoulder. It was, I don't know if it was him, maybe it was Beckett, someone. For whatever reason that rings a bell.
I love Josh Beckett, but that sounds like a Beckett move for sure.
It does. But yeah, I mean, if Stafford doesn't play, then all right, throw this down the toilet. I get it. But I think that he's going to play. He's questionable. The guy's probably played 99% of the time in his career when he's been questionable, right? There's another injury. I can't even remember his name. Puka Nacua is questionable as well. I'm hoping he goes. But again, this is really like, and I'll be honest, this is a numbers play. That plus 140, I can't pass it up against the Packers. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, like, it's kind of how I talked about last week, right? How I love the Cowboys versus the Rams because of the matchup. You know, the Rams were a horrible matchup for Dallas. In this game, it's a much better spot because the Packers' strength is not their offense, right? The Rams defensively, they showed it last week, defensively, they're not a great team. There's Aaron Donald and a bunch of, not really household names, guys who are okay, but not, this isn't the Rams defense from the Super Bowl. There's no Leonard Floyd, no Von Miller, no Jalen Ramsey. A lot of those guys are gone now. And so what you're left over is kind of a makeshift rebuilding defense. And against a team like Green Bay, it's okay to have that because the Packers right now don't have an offense that can do anything really. Jordan Love looks awful. They can't move the ball. So I think in the Rams' case, like their weakness will not be, attacked here. And offensively, the Packers have a good defense, but they get rid of Russell Douglas, who got traded to the Bills here today on the trade deadline. They got some injuries too. I just think Green Bay, they're 2-5. It looks like they're trending in the wrong direction. I think that they could be in tank conversation, right? Because they do have their own first round pick, so they could be maybe taking a new quarterback in this draft. A lot of quarterbacks in this class. So this is their chance to rectify the Jordan Love mistake. So I like the Rams here too. They were on my sheet. Actually, if you didn't take them, I probably go Rams money line here. So kudos to you.
Okay, so there's the benefit of having the back-to-back picks, I guess, not drafting first,
Yeah.
but drafting second in the first round there. All right, you want to get to your pick?
This is the first time I've taken this team this season, and it scares me. But I gotta take them, and they've been my darling. I think you already know just by me saying they've been my darling. Excuse me. Um, I'm going Seahawks money line here, plus 200. I am not buying the Ravens. I'm honestly, I don't know what it is. I think some of it is, those like 2010s, late 2000s Ravens teams. When they had like when Ray Lewis was still around, and they had Ed Reed and all that stuff. Like I hated those Ravens teams, and I think those kind of just seeped in. Bernard Pollard when he took out Brady and all those things. Like there's a lot of things with the Ravens I've never liked about them. I think the Ravens might be my most hated team in the NFL. Honestly, more than the Giants, more than the Jets, whatever. All that aside, I'm not trying to make myself look biased here, but I just don't buy the hype with this team. I see like Colin Cowherd now 2 weeks in a row has put them as the number one ranked team in the NFL. I've seen way too many people so high on this team. Their only claim to fame is that win against the Lions, which, to be granted, was a great win. But that's it. Like they beat the Cardinals by 7. They struggled with Arizona. They kept it close. They win games ugly. They beat the Titans ugly. They beat the Cardinals ugly. Their only big wins were against the Browns with PJ Walker without Deshaun Watson, and the Lions. And like I said, the Lions win. I'll give it to them. Great win. But the rest
That's
of their
also kind of like a I'm not trying to pump air in the tires of your pick too much because I think I do like the pick here, the Seahawks. But like that Lions win, that's not the real Lions. Do you know what I mean? Like
no, exactly.
That's more of a Lions loss than not more, but it's just as much a Lions loss than it was a Ravens win. You know what I mean? Which you're kind of saying. Like I don't think I put too much stock into. Oh, they blew out the Lions. Yeah. Every team blows out somebody.
Yeah.
And it just so happened there. So.
I just think that when you look at their wins, you look at their schedule, like they're really not that impressive. And some of their losses are like they lost to the Steelers really bad. Like Lamar Jackson threw one of the worst interceptions I've seen by a quarterback this year in the end of that game. Like they don't impress me. There's nothing about this team that impresses me. Lamar Jackson is a fantastic athlete. I think he's overrated as a quarterback, as a thrower of the football. And I think in this matchup here, Seattle, they're all in. They traded for Leonard Williams. Was it a little bit of an overpay? Maybe. But Leonard Williams will be a huge addition to this defense. I don't know what role he'll have this week because obviously they just traded for him yesterday on Monday. So I don't really know what kind of impact he'll have off the rip. But this Seahawks offense should do damage against the Ravens defense. That's okay. Like they don't really impress me. There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing about this Ravens team. They're not a bad team. Let me put this straight. Like they are a playoff team. Like they're one of the better teams in the league for sure. I just don't buy the hype that they're like this juggernaut, top team. Like if I had to rank the AFC teams, I would take the Chiefs over them, the Dolphins, the Jaguars. Honestly, I would take the Bengals over them right now. Truthfully, like the Bengals are starting to turn the corner. I would still probably take Buffalo over them. Like there's a lot of teams in the AFC I still think are better than the Ravens. And, they're still a good team, yes, but I think people have just been riding them so hard these past few weeks. I just don't think they're that good. I'm waiting for the game where they're going to get exposed. And I feel like this is the spot because I do think Seattle, They are playing really great football. Now they kind of they beat the Browns, wasn't the most convincing win. Um,
Hmm.
but the Browns defense is also pretty good. So I just like Seattle here. Again, they've been my darling all year long. I bet them almost every week. And on this show in particular, they have won me like at least 3 weeks on this show. So I'm going to keep riding them. Take Seahawks plus 200 here. I think they kind of expose the Ravens. Not that they're a bad team, but they'll let the nation know that, hey, they're not that good. They're good, but they're not. Let's not talk about them as a Super Bowl, favorite or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I am in agreement that the Ravens don't like impress me or anything. I will say I think they have a legit defense. I think it's catapulted by their pass defense, whether it's coverage or even disrupting the quarterback hurries. Like I think that's truly where this game, and it sounds kind of cliche to be like, this is where this game's going to come down to, but it's going to be that good Seattle pass offense that has been something that's really put them head and shoulders above a lot of teams this year versus what I think is one of the better all-around pass defenses in the Ravens. So I'm not impressed by them overall, but I do think if you give credit to the Ravens anywhere, like they rank amongst the best in pass defense this year. And if Seattle's able to hit them first, then you have a Ravens run defense that is still good, but not the same. And Seattle can kind of dictate the pace. And then the Ravens don't have that edge of, not letting a team come back or anything like that. We saw it with the Lions too, right? If the Ravens jump out first, good luck trying to catch them.
Yeah.
It's these games in which, go back and forth, or the team hangs, or they don't have that edge that, sometimes either the underdog wins or something like that. So I do think it's going to be like who throws the first haymaker, which Seattle has the weapons to be able to do it. You know what I mean? Like that is a team that is. I still think it's weird that people still don't really think they're a good team. You know what I mean? Like, it is crazy. And it's all because, we know it is. No one's ever going to believe in Geno Smith just because he was so, fair enough too, right? But now this is almost 2 years of Geno Smith being serviceable at least, which is fine, and really good at best, which is also good. But I think it's going to be who throws the first punch and if it lands, because if this game starts and the Ravens get back-to-back sacks or something like that, they're going to be fired up and Seattle has no chance. If they can go march down the field, score a touchdown, put Ravens on their heels, I think that you have a really, really good chance. That makes me scared of a, what'd you say, plus 200?
Plus 200, yeah.
Plus 200 winner on your hands.
Good value. That's why it stood out to me because of that plus 200. Like, I think I get it. The Ravens are hype right now, but I think Seattle is too good of a team to be that huge of an underdog here. Against Baltimore.
Yeah, I didn't even, to be completely honest, when I was going through the money lines, that didn't even come across my eyes, probably because I looked at plus 200 before I even realized.
You can actually get it plus 210 at FanDuel. So
plus 210.
Yeah, plus 210. They're a 6-point underdog.
There you go.
Which is really crazy.
Sheesh. Yeah, that is good value, but all right, I don't hate it. Like I said, I could see it going either way though, but it isn't something that I'm like, okay, well that's got no chance, because if Seattle punches the Ravens in the mouth first, I think that they win the fight.
Yeah.
I really think it comes down to that pass offense versus pass defense.
Yeah.
All right, Tasos.
Like I said, I think it's a good value. Like I said, I'm not saying it's like a lock. I didn't double down it or anything, but I like the plus 210, 6-point underdog. I think Seattle's far too good of a team to be that big of an underdog. I think it's just the public riding high on Baltimore, and I think they're going to get exposed at some point, and I think it will be this week, personally.
I agree. I like the thought process. I also will say it's kind of cool that we have 4 picks in the books right now, 3 of them plus money. Like this is a week nine for the records here.
We're going crazy here. Halloween week, getting a little scary.
True, we're recording this on Halloween, so it's we could have. I was thinking we could do costumes or something, but I'm like, but by the time someone watches this, it's not Halloween, and it's like okay.
Last week it would have been a kind of a cool idea, I think, but we kind of missed the mark on that one.
Hey, you're the idea guy.
True. To be fair, if I wasn't sick, I actually was going to dress up as a cowboy for my cowboy bet. Like I had the outfit planned, and just my flu game performance hasn't been the best.
Right. All right, let's go ahead and jump into round number 3. And
You got it.
you are up first. Yeah, I got to make sure to speak this through because I just always forget what round we're in and what we're doing. But
And
let's go ahead and
I'm picking
spin.
first here, Ev, just to remind you, just so you
Yes,
don't
yeah.
jump the
I
gun.
just said that. See, you didn't listen. Our flaws both just came out.
Yep.
You didn't listen to me, which you never do, and I forget what round it is. That was a 30-second clip of us both doing exactly what we suck at on this show. But let's spin the wheel.
I'm actually petrified of that happening. Like ever since that happened, I'm like, I gotta make sure I don't like space out or like, because I'm too busy in my mind like thinking of my defense and thinking what I'm gonna say sometimes, and like I not that I tune you out, but like I miss a word, and unfortunately, and this is kind of a show, like all I hear is like, oh, over under is the word I miss, and that determines the entire the entire thing. So
What a friend. Well, we'll pay attention here because we do have a total. But
all right.
what a friend coming through, being like, sometimes I tune you out. It's okay. All right. Enough said.
Well, I said sometimes I don't. I'm
out.
not tuning you out. It's more just like I'm trying to in my head, like, all right, how am I gonna pop a bubble? How am I gonna burst this bubble here? And sometimes I may miss a couple words here and there that you're saying. It's just great debaters, I guess. Just focusing so hard on trying to
that's
pop
what it
holes
is.
in your logic.
But all right, you're up first. We got a total here.
All right. Do I do this? I like this. This jumped out to me. By the way, what a NBA parlay today. If you guys watched, Mitchell Robinson was half a point, over 15.5 points, rebounds. He finished with 15, 8.7 boards, and that's tough. Tough break on that one. That's how I've been losing this year on parlays, just half a point every time. Just a gut punch. All right.
What did you have it at? 15 and a half?
15.5 I got it at.
Points plus rebounds.
Yeah.
He finished at 8 and 8.
He did. On ESPN, it says he had 8 and 7. Oh, that's gonna be. That's gonna be interesting. The stat correction.
The game's still going. There's still 40 seconds left. So maybe.
See, ESPN sucks. Honestly, it does. Because on mine it says that the game's over. It says the Knicks already won, and it says that Mitchell Robinson had 8 points and 7 boards. What a debacle. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I saw that and I'm like, damn. That
could be a win, Tasos.
Could be. It all depends on the stat corrections here. This total, it scares the hell out of me, but you know what? I've been ballsy all show. I'm going to continue to be ballsy. Give me Pats Commanders over 40.5. I don't love it because this is an ugly game. They're two bad teams, but for some reason this over just kind of spoke to me. The Commanders put up almost 500 yards of offense. Excuse me. Oh, God, I hate being sick.
Flu game.
They had 500 yards of offense on the Eagles last week and 31 points. The Commanders' offense has the potential to put numbers up, and on the other side, their strength on defense was the defensive line, and they blew that up today. They traded Montez Sweat. They traded Chase Young. So now their only strength on defense is now, it's not. They still have a decent defensive line, but it's not what it was yesterday or a couple of days ago. I think Washington overall, their defense is not very good, and now they just neutralize their own strength by blowing it up. I think New England, as bad as this offense is, especially now with Kendrick Bourne out, I think this Commanders defense is just as bad. And I think that Mac Jones, Ramondre, Zeke, they'll be able to run the ball, a little play action with Pop Douglas. I think New England will be able to put up like 20 points here. And I think at that point, we only need Washington to put up at least 20 or more. And I think they'll do just that. New England defensively, they're not what they were a couple weeks ago, right? No Judon, no Gonzalez. They've got banged up guys all over the field. Juwan Bentley was hurt. They got injuries everywhere. I think Washington, their offense this year has the definition of boom or bust. I think this feels like a boom game for them. I just think the total is a little low, 40.5, considering that Washington has had games this year that have been really high scoring. whether it be because they've been in it or the team they played has scored a bunch of points on them. Um, I just like the point value here. Again, it's a little risky because this game could go ugly and could be like a 13-10 game. I just think that both offenses against bad defenses. I don't think New England's defense is bad, but it's definitely not good right now. I like the spot. And it's risky. I know it's risky, but I'm gonna take it over 40.5. I don't love this pick, but I don't for some reason today I'm just taking risks.
Yeah, I mean it is so like I don't even have a don't take this as a compliment. I don't have a way to poke holes in this one, but I also don't have a way to like to back it either. You know what I mean? Like this is such a game of two inconsistent teams, offensively, defensively, through and through, that I'm just kind of like maybe you're taking the flyer on the over 40.5. Maybe this game is a 6-3. You know what I mean? Like I don't even have a beat for this game. You are a Patriots expert, so you have that feel. I like the idea of the Commanders. You know, their defense gets shaken up. They lose what they were good at. So I get that. It's like I don't know if I could touch this game with a 10-foot pole, and that's not even saying this game because you're taking it. Like I haven't been able to touch Patriots games with a 10-foot pole in a while because like it's a box of chocolates. But I guess 50-50 type of thing in my brain. The coin's got to land on one side, so it's not terrible. Like I'm not sitting here being like, how could you take the over in this game? It's more of less like I can't even formulate why it would be over or under, but you formulated it pretty well. So
it feels gross.
It's not my
it
pick,
feels
it's
like a
your
gross
pick,
pick.
and
Like
I get it.
it doesn't feel like you're not going to enjoy betting on this game. Truthfully, um,
Yep.
I do have a little bit of numbers to kind of defend it a little bit. The Commanders have scored 20 or more points in 4 of their last 5, and they've given up 14 or more points in all of their last 5 games. So this is a team that they give up at least 2 touchdowns to you, and with the only exception being the Giants game, they scored 20 or more. In 2 of those games, they scored 31 against the Eagles both times they played them. They scored 24 on the Falcons, 20 on the Bears. They're not playing like the greatest defenses ever, but I think New England's defense, if you had to compare them, like they're probably on that tier of like the Eagles, the Falcons, like they're probably on that same level. And this Commanders team has consistently scored points on defenses like that. I just think that this is a game that we don't need anything crazy. Like I think this game is like a field goal game. 23-20 this over cashes, and I think 23-20 is a realistic score for where this game goes. I think that you're going to get some turnovers probably, some good field position. I just feel like this when bad teams play, it can go one of two. It's never in the middle. It's always either one of the worst eyesores and it's like a 10-7 game, or it's just a complete I almost swore, but a disaster. I was gonna say drop an F-bomb there. A disaster, and it's like a 38-31, slugfest. So I'm betting on there being some points here. I think both of these defenses are in tough spots. So again, I don't feel good about it. Like I'm not gonna sleep well knowing that I put a wager on Commanders Patriots. But if I just out of all the over-unders, for some reason, this one kind of jumped out at me as like, I can see this being a 23-20 game. Either way, I think Washington, I would have picked them before today. After they traded away Chase Young and Montez Sweat, I probably lean more Patriots, but 23-20 or even like 26-23 feels like it's a
Fair
realistic
enough.
outcome.
Fair enough. For my pick, it's a game we've already talked about. I am pulling out AltF.
Oh no! Well,
So
that's
this
a loss,
game
guys.
has a-
Just put it
this
in the.
game has
sorry,
a-
can you put an X next to the when you put in the graphics the line? Just put an X next to it.
Fast forward a couple minutes and just consider a loss. But it is a game that we already talked about. Seahawks Ravens.
Okay.
And right now the total is at 42.5. On FanDuel you can get under 41.5 for plus 104. This isn't to say, I talked about the first punch lands, whatever, from Seahawks. But I kind of, tipped my hand off. I think that this is a pretty good Ravens defense. Now, whether or not the Ravens defense truly wins the bout of these two teams, that's not for me to say. I don't care who wins or loses, right? But I do think that a Seattle team that has strived on being able to score points and move the ball down the field, if that gets, I guess hindered at all, I think we're looking at a game in which could be like a 21-17 type of a game. Maybe Seattle pulls it out. I'm really not taking anything away from Seattle. I am kind of backing the idea that what Seattle does best and what has led to them scoring a decent amount of points this year could be hindered to some degree by a good Ravens defense. So again, I'm moving this down a point just to get some plus money here. Plus 104, meaning all three of my first round picks now are plus money. You could tell a man that's in desperation by the plus or minus before his bets. But I like the under 41.5. Again, I think it gets close. I'm making it an alternate line to get that plus money. It's all odds based. I see a 21-17 type of game. Hell, give me 21-20 at the maximum here. It doesn't have to be a low scoring game. It's kind of threading the needle of what you just said too. You don't need a lot of points to hit your over. I don't need a 10-7 game to hit this under. I just think that this sticks around. Like one of these teams, I think, ends up in the teens, and the other one I'm hoping stays in the early 20s.
Now you said over here, right?
I'm
kidding.
Under 41
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. Hey, whatever you say. I know.
I don't hit the spot. The sharps. I was actually looking up while you were talking. The sharps are all over the under right now. The public seems to be a little leaning on the over, but the sharp bettors right now are on the under. So you can kind of call you can call yourself a sharp bettor right now, Ev, which you haven't been able to do much this year.
Gosh, the guy gives a compliment and within seconds pulls the rug out.
I mean, the unders have been hitting, like for Seattle, I'm looking at it here, the last 5 games, 3 of the last 5 games, the under has hit. And for Baltimore, the same, 3 of the last 5 games, the under has hit. It's funny you say that because if you had to tell me to correct the score, to guess the correct score of the game, I would probably say 21-17. Like, I think that's a pretty good number. I think this game stays within a touchdown. It's going to be a 1-score game. And like you said, even Seattle defensively, they're not terrible. You know what I mean? Like Devon Witherspoon, we talked about him a couple of times on the show. Great young rookie corner. Now they add Leonard Williams to their defense. And, their defense, the Seattle's defense isn't anything to like write home about, but they're solid. They're middle of the pack. And Baltimore, like you said, their defense is pretty damn good. On the flip side, Baltimore's offense can be inconsistent at times. So I like it. I really don't have anything bad to say about it because I don't see a shootout. I don't really see a world where this game is like a 38-34, battle where a bunch of points are being scored. I think this game will be whoever packs, put that first punch, like you said. I also think it could be whoever makes the first big mistake could cost them here.
True.
So yeah, like I said, I think 21-17 is like fantastic. I actually think it probably will be around where this game ends, like 2016, 21-17, that kind of vibe. So I can't hate on the under here. I really can't. Good pick.
I will say too, like thank you. Now I wait for the tear down after the compliment.
I could go at you for the Alti Ev because Alti Ev is like 1 in 47 this year on picks. So that's the only
has to be.
I could definitely see this being like a 20. Now I could see this being like a 20.
Oh no,
22,
it's gonna be 42.
20,
it's gonna finish
22,
at 42.
22 like 22-19. No, that would still hit, right? Yeah, it's like a 20.
I'm only moving it at 1 point. So if this lands at 42, I screwed myself because it's 42.5. I moved it to 41.5.
Can you imagine though, like a 23-20 game or 23-19?
Yeah, that'd be tough. That's enough said. I will say, like, the last thing on this is to paint a picture like an X, right? It's like Seattle, they have a really good run defense. And they do have a good one, actually, yeah. Ravens, their forte, not necessarily like running back personnel, but they're a better on the ground team, whether it's Lamar Jackson or right? So all of a sudden, I think that those cancel out to some degree. Seattle, good pass offense. Ravens, good pass defense. Like, this shouldn't be easy for either team. And when things aren't easy, that's where the under lean and play comes into play. That's kind of just the, where this started. Altiev, if it lands at 42 Tasos, I don't know what we're gonna do. You're gonna have to find a substitute for the show because I can't do it anymore.
Well, you just got to bury Altiev. It'll have to be that's it. Like just put him to rest, lay him to rest.
We'll do
done.
a whole next. Yep, next episode will be an entire 30-minute ceremony on burying Altiev.
But I agree with you. I think that's a really good point where it's like in both of these teams, like kind of going back to like my point, like it's going to be a matter of like do you trust Lamar Jackson to win this game with his arm or Kenneth Walker to win this game on the ground? And like I think that like you said, their strengths are going to be neutralized a little bit, and I think that the flip side, like the Seahawks run game is solid, not great. And I think the Ravens pass game is solid, not great. I agree with you. I think that equates to a lower scoring game. I don't see this being a big firework extravaganza in Baltimore.
Yep. All right. So now we got the fade me round, which if you guys don't know what the fade me round is, we're going to spin a wheel. Whoever this wheel lands on gets to make a pick across the board. It could be any game, any type of play, anything like that. And the other person has to fade the pick and do the opposite. This thing, Tasos, when we planned this show before the season launched, I don't think we ever envisioned Fade Me literally determining pretty much all but, or not necessarily determining, but coming through for all but what, 1 week or maybe even two.
I think
but
it's 2 weeks. One week you lost on Fade Me, and 1 week I lost on Fade Me. Like the pick that I chose didn't hit. So like out of we're 8 weeks through now, it's like 6-2.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And last week, in the last 2 weeks, I mean, essentially, you probably would have won last week. Well, I guess if it didn't hit, you would have been down too.
Yeah.
So, Fade Me is determined. Of those 6 weeks that it's hit, it's probably determined a decent amount of them too. So, very important round. Again, whoever this lands on gets to make a pick across the board. The other person has to take the opposite. Let's spin the wheel. I don't even know if I want it or if I want you to have it. Like, I really don't.
I'm in the same boat because honestly, the board this week, it's going to be me.
It's coming to you. Yep.
And I was just going to say the board this week, I have a decision to make because I did make a promise on last week's show about what this pick was going to be, and I'm wondering if I should follow through with it or if I should go the opposite. Because I have a pick in my mind. It's another one of those like I don't. The problem is the pick that I'm leaning towards right now is another one of these ugly like bad team games, and I feel like I have like all my picks right now are leaning on these, except for the Seahawks Ravens game. Like my other two picks are on these bad. I said it last week, and I was spot on. So you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns and stick to what I said on that show. Give me the Eagles money line -166. I'm not gonna go spread. That kind of I know 3 points isn't a lot. I said it last week. I said this is what happens with Cowboys, right? They win a big game, they blow a team out, and then what happens? They play a better team or a team on equal level to them, and they fall short.
Yep.
And they did it, right? They crushed the Rams. Now's the part in that cycle of life for Cowboy fans, right? Now is the point where they play that better team and they get beaten. Now, I don't think this will be a blowout because I think Philadelphia has their problems. And boy, especially on defense, they have problems. But they just keep winning. They're 7-1. This team has grit. They find a way to win. They've been making improvements. Julio Jones, actually a solid addition to their receiving core, caught a touchdown against Washington. Like, they add Kevin Byard to the defense. This is, and I don't like to do this because I already saw people commenting like, oh, like, on the videos like, oh, these guys they give the reasons why these picks are going to lose while we give the picks, like loser mentality. It's like, all right, well, I'm just being real. This is the least confident I've ever been in a fade me pick because I kind of want to drink the Cowboy Kool-Aid a little bit and say like their defense is it's pretty good. The only other reason too being that the Eagles, yes, they keep winning, but God, it's never easy for them. Like only the Dolphins win, I feel like was like an
especially
easy
against the Commanders, Commanders.
Both Commanders games
work their asses off. Yeah,
just tough. Like they just all of their wins, and they're 7-1, so they're a great football team. But like their wins have just been it's been a sweat. It's been a major. I
hate having the Cowboys.
Huh?
I do. Like I think I hate having the Cowboys here.
Well, that's why I did it. That's why
I didn't have to make the decision. I'm glad I didn't have to make the decision.
Because you know what? Right? Like this is why I picked the Eagles, because I would feel better about myself if I picked the Eagles and they lose and the Cowboys somehow break the wheel You know what? That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that kind of a loss. I'm not okay if I pick Cowboys or I don't pick the Eagles, and you know what I mean. And the
Yeah,
Cowboys do their Cowboy
get
thing,
smoked.
and it's like I missed out on the opportunity. That's why I'm doing this because I just feel like history repeats itself. This is what the Dallas Cowboys are until proven otherwise, and I'm okay with being on the wrong side of this if I'm wrong. But this is what Dallas does. I still don't think Dak
Yep.
Prescott and this offense is that great. I think they just played a really bad defense in the Rams. I think the Eagles' defense have not been great, but I think they'll be able to put Dak in uncomfortable situations. So give me the Eagles here. I'm going money line, not spread. It's only 3 points, but I like to play it safe
What do you
here.
got for odds there?
I think I got it. Let me double check here. I want to look at it. I had them at minus 166. Yeah, minus 166. Probably the best I can find on the market right now. So we'll go
I
with.
got MGM minus 155. There you
Oh,
go.
well, I
Even
appreciate
better.
that. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah,
So
of course. Hey,
155.
I'm a
So
fair
we'll take
player.
155.
I'm a fair player.
Uh,
I got Cowboys at plus 140. It looks like. I don't hate it. But I mean, I do hate it, but I like that it's not my decision. There's something about fade me when it's not your pick that gives you a little bit of like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
like,
Well,
can
like
the
I said,
Cowboys
nothing
do
you
it?
can do.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid risk free.
Yeah, nothing you
so.
can do. You just kind of have to ride it. And hey, you get to be a Cowboy. Listen, I was a Cowboy fan last week. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun last
Yeah,
week
they,
being a
they know how to,
Cowboy
they know how to
fan.
have some fun. Yeah.
Problem is if
But,
this is what it is, being a Cowboy fan this week is the worst experience. Like I have my friend Matt who during the Niners loss actually was crying, like actually like tears
Oh
because
my God.
he was like, "This is why can't we have nice things?" Like he's 25 years old, so he wasn't around for the early the 90s and 80s Cowboy dominance. So all he knows is Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. So that's the kind of side I think that's the side of Cowboys fandom that will come out this week. And like I said, I think the Eagles have their number of late. I just don't see Dallas. I think the Cowboys are very fraudulent to me. They proved it twice already this year, right? The Cardinals lost, the Niners lost. Like they've already shown their true colors. I don't think they've gotten better. This is just who they are. They're going to beat bad teams and they're going to lose to teams like the Niners, especially that game has aged horribly because San Francisco's on a 3-game losing streak and they don't look very good right now. So
Right. It's fair
makes
enough.
the Cowboys loss look even worse.
Yep. But all right, guys, those are our 4 picks, 4 down. Tasos, I need a win here. I don't hate my picks. I got a lot of plus money here. Excited to see how these picks turn out.
I think all your picks are plus money, aren't they? Including Fade.
Yeah, because including Fade Me, good call. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I love that or hate it. Now that you say
you're
it, but
plus money across. I mean, the good side is that like you only need to win 1 or 2, really,
potentially. Yep.
potentially.
You're right. Yep.
So that's the interesting part. Is that the strategy going forward? If you win this week, you just underdogs across the board.
Hey, I'm playing the classics if I win this week, so I'm sticking to it. But yeah. Nonetheless, you got any last thoughts for anyone watching?
No. Hope you guys are enjoying. I know this is Halloween. We're recording tonight. You guys will probably you guys are gonna watch this on Thursday, but hope you guys enjoyed all the Halloween candy. And I know I'll be digging into a little bit of that after this show ends. Ev, what's your favorite candy?
Payday. It's a wild candy is my favorite. But
Payday.
I don't love chocolate that much. It's
wild,
that
that is one of the craziest. Like
Yeah,
I was waiting
I
to
know.
hear something, but wasn't waiting to hear that. Like I don't think you might be the only person on planet Earth who like when asked that question says payday.
I probably am. Probably am. What's yours?
Crazy. I mean, mine's cliche. It's Reese's peanut butter cups, like especially,
Okay.
but it's got to be the holiday theme ones, like the ones that are shaped like either like pumpkins or like Christmas trees. Like for some reason, I don't know what it is, or like the Easter egg ones. The peanut butter to chocolate ratio is just perfect. I don't know how it works, but
I'm pretty high on those too, to be completely honest. Like I know I said I don't like chocolate, but I like peanut butter, and that's one of the candies that I like. Like I don't like just like a Hershey's bar or something like that, but I Reese's I can 100% get behind. So it is cliche, but it is also like a staple.
I think we just discovered why you're 2 and 6. I think you got to hop off the payday train.
I'm waiting for my payday.
But yeah, that's all I got. I'm interested. This is the most, I think, interesting week because I don't like most weeks. I feel like you can see one side versus the other. Like, okay, I really like his picks, or I think we took a lot of wild cards today. Like, I think we really took a
Yeah.
lot of risks today. I don't really know why I did that strategy wise because I'm 6-2. I
I
think I'm just
had
kind of
to.
like, hey, I'm invincible right now. I can't be touched, so let's just throw caution to the wind. I got bets on Titans and Steelers and Commanders, Patriots, and yeah, it'll be
I had
interesting.
to. You didn't, but you did for the sake of the show. Um, but nonetheless, yeah, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy that episode. Hit that subscribe button if you're still watching. Hit that like button. Let us know if you're Team Ev or Team Tasos for this week. Obviously, you should be Team Tasos for the year. But
You would have won a
for
lot of
this
money
week,
by now if you were on my team. Just saying.
seriously. But yeah, nonetheless, I guess that's the show adjourned. Week number 9. Hopefully, guys, like you said, Tassos, hopefully, you guys are enjoying the show. We're not stopping anytime soon. Going to make it better and better. And yeah, guys, catch you guys in week number 10. Hopefully, I'll be 3-6, which doesn't even sound that great. A lot of work.
Probably
to do.
probably not, but one can hope.
All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.